Seek thou this soul of mine, and visit it with thine own ardor glowing. O Comforter, draw near, within my heart appear, and kindle it thy holy flame bestowing. Oh, let it freely burn, till earthly passions turn to dust and ashes in its heat consuming. And let thy glorious light shine ever on my sight, and clothe me round the while my path illumine. Let holy charity mine outward vesture be, and lowliness become mine inner clothing. True lowliness of heart, which takes the humbler part, and o'er its own shortcomings weeps with loathing. And so the yearning strong, with which the soul will long, shall far outpass the power of human telling. For none can guess its grace till he become the place wherein the Holy Spirit makes his dwelling. Come down, O love divine, seek thou this soul of mine, and visit it with thine own ardor glowing. O Comforter, draw near, within my heart appear, and kindle it thy holy flame bestowing. to dust and ashes in its heat consuming. And let thy glorious light shine ever on my sight, and clothe me round the while my path illumine. Let holy charity mine outward vesture be, and lowliness become mine inner clothing. True lowliness of heart, which takes the humbler part, and o'er its own shortcomings weeps with loathing. And so the yearning strong, with which the soul will long, shall far outpass the power of human telling. For none can guess its grace till he become the place wherein the Holy Spirit makes his dwelling. Come down, O love divine, seek thou this soul of mine, and visit it with thine own ardor glowing. O Comforter, draw near, within my heart appear, and kindle it thy holy flame bestowing. Oh, let it freely burn, till earthly passions turn to dust and ashes in its heat consuming. And let thy glorious light shine ever on my sight, and clothe me round the while my path illumine. weeps with loathing.
Good morning, friends. So glad you're here. C.S. Lewis said that a children's story that can only be enjoyed by children is not a good children's story in the slightest. So we're going to begin with a very good children's story called The Rabbit Listened. One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. Now, Taylor's about to have a number of voices, a zoo of voices, coming in to help him out. So consider which one of these voices might be the one that comes to you when things come crashing down or when you get quiet. Which one of these animals in this zoo is the voice you hear the loudest? The chicken was the first to notice. Oh, look at Taylor. Cluck, cluck, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it, cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Grrr, grrr, how horrible. I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Grrr, grrr, grrr. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do. I can fix this. We need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. One by one they came. The hyena, hee, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, gulp, let's hide and pretend nothing happened. The kangaroo, tsk, what a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go down. Let's go knock down someone else's. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. The rabbit, together they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. "It's going to be amazing." Was there a voice that you heard above some others? I call these voices also a committee. What we're going to do in this practice is talk about the zoo or the committee that comes to us when we get quiet, or that comes to us when things fall down. And I've noticed through this quarantine that the tired I get, the more the voices, the louder they get, right? I love this quote from Madame Guillaume. The interior life, that is, the inward life of the spirit, is not a place that is taken by storm or violence, or bears or ostriches, or chickens or hyenas or kangaroos. That inward kingdom, that realm within you, is a place of peace. It can only be gained by love. Do we believe that? That only love, like the listening rabbit, can transform us. Not shame, not trying harder, not burying our heads, but only love, like the listening rabbit, can transform those voices. My friend Beth, would you read this Henry Nouwen quote for me? I didn't give you warning that I was going to call on you, but thank you, friend.
Many voices ask for our attention. There is a voice that says, "Prove that you are a good person." Another voice says, "You'd better be ashamed of yourself." There's also a voice that says, "Nobody really cares about you." And one that says, "Be sure to become successful, popular, and powerful." But underneath all these often very noisy voices is a still, small voice that says, "You are my beloved. My favor rests on you." That's the voice we need most of all to hear. To hear that voice, however, requires special effort. It requires solitude, silence, and a strong determination to listen.
Thanks, Beth. Underneath all those voices, the zoo, the committee, is a still small voice that says, "You are my beloved. My favor rests on you." That's the voice we need to hear most of all. So the practice that we're going to do today is to pick one of the following, I call them personas, voices, committee members, zoo animals. You might have all of these, but, and we do. But just pick the one that's the most present to you and hold on to that as I read through this next slide. Okay, here's the different voices. There's the picture perfect persona who says, "I must get this right." This persona uses perfectionism, black and white thinking to be okay. Then there's the kickback kid. "Let's eat, let's go to the movies." The kickback kid uses the art of distraction to be okay and perhaps not to feel. The self-improver says, "Try harder. I should be making the most of this quarantine. I should learn a new skill. I should blah, 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 blah." Uses achievement to prove worth and to be okay. The army sergeant says, "Follow or get left behind," and uses strength as self-protection to be okay and perhaps not to feel touched at all. Then there's the self-thrasher. "I'm the worst ever," using self-incrimination and beating oneself up to get okay. Then there's the rescuer. "I can help everyone and fix anything. It's all up to me." Uses martyrdom or even blaming to get to be okay. Then there's the attitude police. "Here's what's wrong with them, her, and them." Uses judgment to keep a distance and remain untouched. So glance through that lovely list of voices and just pick the one that's most present to you today. Okay, got one? Okay, so what we're going to do, and I'll give you an example, my example right after this sheet. We're going to pick one member of our committee and figure out, what does this persona want? What is their primary fear? Now, if Jesus, like the listening rabbit, were to sit down next to that persona, that animal, what would he say? Now remember that Jesus is patient and kind, doesn't keep a record of wrongs, has no agenda, and is in no hurry. If Jesus were to sit down next to that persona, what would he say? And then ultimately, if that persona were to be gospel-filled, or could say, I have everything I need, so for that reason, fill in the blank. So here's my example. I picked the number one, the one about getting it right, persona, picture perfect persona. So what does that persona want from me? Well, she doesn't want to be, it's kind of what she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be criticized or rejected, exposed, unsafe, or unlovely. So ultimately, what is that primary fear? Why has this persona been in my life? If I take the picture perfect persona and sit her down next to Jesus, the kind, patient, not in a hurry, doesn't keep a record of wrongs, no agenda, listening rabbit Jesus, what would he say? He'd say, for all your fears about being criticized, I cover you. For all your fears about being rejected, you're accepted in the beloved. For all your fears about being exposed, again, I've covered you. For all the ways you feel unsafe, know that you are under my wings. For all the fears you have of being unlovely, remember that I make all things beautiful. So if that persona were to be gospel-filled and could say, I have everything I need, so for that reason, I am his beloved. So this is the exercise we're going to do. So you have this one, and then I'm going to show you on the second page a letter, an example of a letter that you can write to this persona. You could do both exercises. You could pick one. We're definitely going to run out of time for sure. But here it is something you can continue on for the rest of our time together later today, this weekend, or whatever. But here's an example of a letter that you could write to your persona. This is the one I did under rightness, the picture perfect persona. I don't need you anymore. Thank you for your service. I used you to protect me from getting hurt for a long time. I thought I needed your safety. But now, what you consider safety, I consider lonely. Leaving you has been quite a journey for me, since I have feared being really known, which has opened me up to be criticized, rejected, exposed, unsafe, or unlovely. Rightness, you became a prison to me, so I wouldn't be known. I don't need you anymore. Through the love of the Trinity and the friendship of dear ones, I have everything I need. You are dismissed. Please leave the table. So now take some time, and I'm going to leave this slide up for you to start the exercise as best you can. And then as we get towards the end, I'll come back to us and see if anyone would like to share what the Spirit showed them about this persona that is speaking so loudly in this hard time. Okay, go ahead and start your practice.
Come down, O love divine. See to dust and ashes in its heat consuming, and let thy glorious light shine ever on my sight, and clothe me round the while my path illumine. Let holy charity mine outward vesture be, and lowliness become mine inner clothing. True lowliness of heart, which takes the humbler part, and o'er its own shortcomings weeps with loathing. And so the yearning strong, with which the soul will long, shall far outpass the